基本八式。
Taijiquan has 8 fundamental stances that are the basis for stability, movement, and martial technique. When you practice these stances, you may ignore the positioning of the hands until you begin the sequence.
马步
The horse stance is commonly used as a transition between techniques and forms. To assume this stance, first place the feet parallel, slightly beyond shoulder width. Next, bend the knee until the angle between the rear thigh and calf is about 90 degrees. The torso is upright, natural, centered, and relaxed. The knees are lined up with the toes. Both feet must remain flat. It is important to understand that in order to avoid knee injury, the knees are always lined up with the toes when practicing.
登山步、弓箭步。
This important form is the most commonly used offensive stance in Taijiquan. First, place one leg forward so that the knee and toes are lined up perpendicularly, and the leg supports 60% of the body's weight. The toe of the lead leg is pointing 50 degrees to the inside. The rear leg is firmly set down while supporting the rest of the weight. The knee of the rear leg must be slightly bent in this stance. Keep the upper body perpendicular to the ground.
坐盘步。
The sitting on crossed leg stance is commonly used for forward movement. First, assume Ma Bu. Second, turn the body and the right foot with the heel 90 degrees clockwise while pivoting on the left toe. The same can be done with the left side.
四六步。
This form is the most commonly used defensive stance in Taijiquan. In weight distribution, it is exactly the opposite of mountain climbing stance. The front leg supports 40% of the weight and the rear leg 60%. The rear leg is bent and the knee and the toes are turned inward while the front leg is flexed, slightly bent and relaxed.
伏虎步。
Tame the tiger stance is used for low attacks and defense. To assume this stance, stand with both feet spread. Next, squat down on one leg while keeping the other leg straight. The thigh of the squatting leg must be parallel to the ground and both feet must be flat. Again, the knee of the squatting leg should line up with the toes.
旋击步、虚步。
The false stance is used to set up kicks. First, place all your weight on one leg. Next, set the other leg in front of the body with only the toes lightly touching the ground. From this position, the front leg can kick without hesitation.
« 金鸡独立。
This stance is similar in form to false stance and serves the same function, to set up kicks. To assume this stance, lift either knee up with the ankle naturally relaxed. The raised leg can kick at any instant.
« 坐蹲。
This stance is primarily used as a training device to build up the knees. To begin, stand with feet spread shoulder-width apart. Squat down until the thighs are parallel to the ground and the back is straight. You should attempt to stay in this stance for 5 minutes while keeping the mind calm. Naturally, in order to prevent any injury, you should start with only 1 minute first, then gradually increase the time of training.